Okay, so in my last video, that was for the simple switcher 5X, 5-channel MOSFET switch, and I said that I had a newer, improved, bigger brother version to the board, and after assembling this week, and the parts all came, I now have this one. And you can see it's a little bit bigger, uses a bigger chip, and it has a couple of servo plug outputs. But it's basically same as this with the exception of these two outputs, and down here we have two small potentiometers for adjusting one of those outputs. Now what I will do is get it all hooked up and then be back to continue the video and show you the differences and what it does. Okay, so here we have it all hooked up. We have the super switcher there, the finally revised version of my winch controller. The redesigned boards for that also came in at the same time, so I was able to do them both together. So a rundown of what we have. We have one channel from the receiver going to the super switcher. We have, as on the simple switcher, 2-cell voltage roughly thereabouts coming in, and we have the 5 channels that switch out at that voltage, and we have 2 light bars on there, 24 LED all half watt and a 12 LED all half watt. Combined together they're pulling just short of 1.5 amps because of the way they're wired. Then we have the first servo output. I don't know if you're going to see that, silk screened on the board. It says aux servo, and we have one servo here. Second output goes to control the winch controller. Basically the idea behind this was, if you have only one channel, whether it's a 2-position or a 3-position, you can use this module, have your 5 switched outputs for various loads that you want to switch on and off, whether it's lights or other things. And this would be potentially for a 2-speed transmission, so you don't sacrifice one channel just for that servo control and not be able to do anything else, and the one output to drive the winch. So it is turned on, transmitter on, let's turn that on, and also the winch. Now the beauty of the winch, this is still in its default mode from being used on one of these channels, so this is set in 3-position mode, and as far as that's concerned, that's what it's getting from the output of this. So it works essentially the same way. And for the moment I'm using the throttle trigger, but it will easily work off that as well and cycle through all the button. So first things first, if we channel 6, see that once you get to 5, because we've only got 5 LEDs, it rolls over 1, so 5 plus 1 is 6, 5 plus 2, the channel 2 LED is 7, back to 1, but for the moment we want to do the servo, so that's channel 6, and if we, so that's the current position, so and these trim pots down here will control the travel and end stop of the servo in each direction, or you can even use them to reverse the travel of it. So you can have it set with that small amount of travel, or you can have it do a full 180-degree sweep. And if we go to channel 1 and turn channel 1 on, I've also changed the code on the simple switcher and this code so that if you hold it in one direction, anything, whatever you've got turned on and off, will come on, but if you go in the other direction it will just toggle it for the duration that it's held. We'll go channel 2 for the next one. So that direction is toggle, that direction is hold, and even when they're on you can toggle them. That's channel 1 and channel 7. So the winch. The way the winch was set up with this, because it was too easy to press and release it quickly and actually change for a channel as opposed to the value, so the winch in this will only spool out or in for the duration that this is held in whichever direction. But if you do it on the button, or if you would use this on its own dedicated channel, then it will give you the options that I previously showed when I first designed it, that you could spool out continuously with a brief push or momentarily until the button is released, which is what we're doing here. So and again all from one channel. So back to channel 1, toggle that LED, turn it on, channel 2 on, back to the servo, change gear for a transmission. I will look into the code to try and adapt that so that you can use it for a free speed transmission, but just needs some refining and fine tuning. So there we go. That is my super switcher. 5 switchable on-off channels, 1 servo output for transmission changing between 4 high, 4 low, depends if you've got a trail finder or an axial with an aftermarket 2-speed transmission, and the awesome winch controller. I've made some changes to this board design for a few things that I weren't happy with, and I've already done that in the software. It's just got to be submitted and sent off. And I also made the minor adjustments for the simple switcher, which I didn't like, which was getting rid of this through the hole wire connections and just going with the pads that you see down here, same as on this. So it's easier to solder to, it's less stress when they're pulled upon, so they don't break off, because I had the power wire do that a couple of times. And taking the heat shrink off to get to that, to get it sorted and put it back on, can be a bit tedious after a while. But that's it for this, and I will just reset up again and do a quick video of it working from the 2-position switch. Okay, so now we have it set up to work from the 3rd channel on the transmitter, which is purely a 2-position switch. And literally is, well, it's the more common type that everyone seems to have, and a lot of things won't work with. So first thing what we'll do is we'll cycle through the channels. So quick push and release cycles through a channel. If you push and hold it until your channel comes on, and what it does, once you push and hold it to turn on, then it will stay there in a loop until you bring the button low again, so there's no chance that you can skip across. And if we go to the servo, channel 6, and channel 7 for the winch. So, and back to channel 1. And there we go, just to show that it works on a 3-position and more importantly a 2-position, because that's what everyone seems to have. So thanks for watching.